Hello, folks. It's Robin here from Triple Ace Games, and we're back this Saturday for another session of The Sky Is No Limit. I believe we're on session 8 now, and I'll just hand you over to Eloy, who's playing George Mallory, and he's going to give you a brief recap of last session, which was 2 weeks ago. So over to you, Eloy.
All right. So on the previous session, the party at Belém had realized that the group left over at the Epiphany was in danger of attack from the reptile people, and so Mallory, having concluded his affairs in the city, leaves Garibaldi still in the hospital, recuperating from his wounds, and takes a small team of people to reinforce the crew at the Epiphany. So it's George Tanvir, Singh, and 4 other men who had been recruited, including a man named Phillips. And so we trekked across the jungle, where we became aware that we were being followed. So we doubled back to ambush the ambushers, and managed to kill one, just shoot one dead, and the others scattered. We were unable to, take care of the rest of the pursuers, but at least we scattered them. And so we made our way to the Epiphany, reunited with Professor Winegold, and brought him up to speed. We learned that there had been attacks on the Epiphany as well, and so we set about organizing a guard to keep everybody safe as the professor continues to prepare the lifeboats for our journey into the jungle. And so during this process, George decides to go on a scouting expedition to see if we can locate the camp of the ambushers, and maybe get a sense of where they're coming from, with the picture in mind of the flashing lights when the large pteranodon creature attacked us. And so once again, we set off into the jungle. We made it to a river mouth, either the Amazon or one of its branches, and discovered evidence of the pteranodon's spoor, containing a boot from one of the guards who had been eaten by the beast. And we did not locate the ambushers, but we did find evidence of them digging around some plants and some tree bark. And so we took samples of all of that, thinking that if we give them to Garibaldi, who's our chemist, he might find it useful in fashioning some sort of antidote for this poison, which has been troubling us since the start. And so we made our way back to the ship. Repairs were still in progress, but the crew's spirits were down. So George attempts a rousing speech to raise morale and does not really achieve much in the process. But I think at least it kept them from deteriorating further, right? So it wasn't really a victory, but it wasn't really a complete wash either.
It stopped the plummet.
Exactly, it stopped the precipitous plummet. So following that, we were, we found evidence of the reptile people coming in to steal some guns. We pursued them over the ship, and finally came upon one of their number in the depths of the ship where the water tanks were being kept, and he had his hand stuck in the tank, presumably dumping some poison into our water supply. And that's when we ended the session with John St. John Smythe waking up, the representative of the Royal Geographic Society, waking up in Belém in the hospital saying, don't drink it. And that is where we ended last session.
Right on. Although I will say, St. John Smythe is the representative of the Royal Cartographical
that's it.
Society. Which is why he is not possibly against you.
Correct.
Perhaps.
All right, so we open where we left off, dramatically, right? The small reptile armored person with their arm in the water supply.
Right.
No
Action.
way out of this room except through you. And remember, we have to be very careful of the spikes on their armor.
Oh, that's right. So he's not grappled by George. George just pulled him down by the leg.
I
Being
think that's what
terribly careful, having seen Lawrence get punctured.
I think
Right.
that I tried to slam him on the ground. I sort of seem to remember that. I can't too.
Pull them down, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let us begin in a very traditional sense by engaging the mechanisms of combat as I ask you for initiative.
Was Oscar present in the scene, or were we playing other people at that exact moment?
I think I was there.
Were you on watch? I recall.
That is a 2 for initiative for me, which is not so hot.
Okay. 4 for Oscar.
Okay. And 10 here.
Oh, yes.
Ah.
Do you want to play Tanvir?
No, I suppose
Ivan?
I'll be Tanvir then.
Yeah.
That's correct. Oh, yeah. So I'll just pull out my fire. Well, no. And he's got 4?
He's got 4, yeah.
Oh, no. Okay. 2.
Okay. So we have Mallory, who's tried to pull him back. Right? His arm is in the water, giving him a good, grip on the edge of the distilled water tank. Okay. And with the two of them locked, one man's strength against another man's strength, we have Oscar, then the reptilian person, and then George and Tanvir in sync with each other.
Okay. I think Oscar was carrying his crossbow.
It kind of have to be. There hasn't really been a moment to put it down,
So-
unless he decided to leave it outside during the rousing, boring speech.
I don't think he's going to mess around. I think he's just going to shoot an arrow.
All
bolt.
right. Now remember,
What
George
could
is
go wrong?
Yeah, yeah. Well, this.
Aim high.
Well,
Right.
yeah, I mean, this genre is all about peril. I mean, come on. This is
It
what we-
is all about Harold.
Yeah.
So George is going to be adding to the defense of the small man who's already small.
Right.
So already has an increased defense, but there we go. So if you miss, it's because in this small space you have managed to hit.
Okay. I think I still have a style point left, which I'll throw into the mix. So that's 9 dice.
Hey, 9 dice. No one ever rolls like 1 or 2 successes on 9 dice.
Exactly. No one. And it's not happening today. So 5 successes.
I guess 5 is good enough.
5 is
Okay.
just above the average.
And you don't even feel the breeze, George, as the body stiffens a little bit, right, with the pain. Now that he's been shot, he's been wounded, you can feel the pain coursing through him as the bolt enters his body, but he's still got a little life in him yet. Okay, and he's going to draw back his, you know, his armored foot. Fortunately, no spikes there, or he'd be putting himself in peril, right? But he does have a protected foot. He's drawing it back, and he's going to drive it, you know, somewhere in the upper body region. Now you can choose to take it and maintain your grip, meaning you can defend with body alone, giving up your active defense, or you can, you know, actively defend. It's up to you.
I think I'll just defend it because the damage has been done. He's already poisoned the water. So, you know what? I'll take it. It's more genre thing that I'll take it. Just
right.
passive defense only. Yeah.
All right. So your passive defense
Is 2.
Roll it. 2. Roll it.
That is a 1.
Oh, that's not bad. And you take 2 non-lethal.
Okay.
So his foot, he draws it back. He's very agile. We've seen these people climbing, right? They've been getting into the Epiphany by very curious and circuitous routes. So he's able to bring his knee practically, you know, up to his forehead before driving it down, and it collides around the temple.
Ouch.
In George's head, and causing a lot of pain and whatnot. It's not life-threatening. It won't even be a bruise, but you know, in the moment, bam! This is serious business, right? This is an agile and trained fighter, and he's got this strong grip from which to launch his attacks from, a good base. It's not just perched on this ladder. Tanvir and George are simultaneous.
So I think since I already have a grip, I'm going to try and yank him down and see if I can, you know, slam him against the floor.
Okay, so strength, pure strength.
Try to grab the other leg. So just help him grab the other leg.
It probably helped. Yeah.
So with assistance, that's fine.
Yeah,
if your brawl plus Tanvir's assistance of 2 is greater than double your strength, then roll it. Otherwise, roll double your strength.
Say, mind the spikes, sir. Blase as I could possibly.
So hang on. It's not brawl. It's strength, right?
It would be double your strength. This is purely a strength thing.
Okay.
But if your brawl, your ability to apply your strength for violence exceeds double your strength,
Oh no.
your strength
wait,
plus
no.
brawl is greater than strength plus strength.
It's the same. Yeah.
Then in your mind, know which one you're rolling.
Yeah. But I get 2 assistance from
Just
Tanvir.
pulling on the other leg.
Excellent. So in that case, oh geez, that's only 3 successes out of 8 dice.
Oh. So his grip slowly, and then the 3 of you crash down to the ground at Oscar's feet, with the little man on top.
Oh no.
Oscar.
If he's at my feet,
He's on top of George, who's on top of Tanvir, who are at.
We sort of collapsed back. With
Can
the
I
guy
just-
on top of us.
He's on his back, looking right at you.
can I just hit him on the head with the butt of my crossbow?
You know, if I were there, I think I would.
Yeah. So, how do we do that then? Is that a strength thing or a
This is melee.
melee? Well, I don't have that skill, but I do have jack of all trades.
You do.
Yes.
So I don't have to take away 2 dice. I can just let you use your strength. Just
Which-
your strength.
Which is just
Plus 1 for the butt of the crossbow.
okay. Well, that's 3 dice. That's all right.
Smashing.
2 successes.
All right. So it's definitely a solid hit, but it definitely hits, you know, his armored reptile helmet.
Yeah.
And the force of it, he's smaller than you. It rocks him to the side. Whether or not you've done any damage, vaguely in the back of your head, maybe you can hear an old PE instructor, yelling, "Winegold, climb the rope." That kind of stuff.
I hated those PE lessons. Oh, always picking on the smart kids.
Exactly. And so he's on top of George, who's on top of Tanvir, which raises him up a fair bit. So even though he's got short stature compared to the three of you, he again goes with a kick, a pile driver kick aimed somewhere around Oscar's midsection, and only the damage will determine where that lands. So, Oscar, it's time to defend. This is your full defense, right? Dex plus body.
Okay, so that's 8 dice.
All
Well,
right.
it shouldn't be that many.
Well, sorry, my defense is 5, but you said
there you go.
Five dice.
Sorry.
Wouldn't it be nice if it were 8 dice?
No, I made the classic mistake of adding my defense to my dexterity, but I should have. Anyway.
Then I add my body to it. Like I've got like 35 dice.
Yeah, I was invincible. 3 successes.
3 successes. Wham! You take 1 non-lethal.
Ow.
So he's hit you in the side. It's not a liver hit, but it's close enough to make a man flinch. Right? And you're gonna feel it for a while.
That's gonna bruise.
Another kick. Yeah, the Oscar will be bruised.
That's gonna be
George
bruised. Tanvir, then, yeah.
George and Tanvir.
Are we on the floor on our backs?
Yes, on the backs, and he's on his back on you.
Okay.
His legs are toward your head. His head is toward your midriff, and he's kind of put his shoulders like on your hips and thighs to drive his kick at Oscar, which is connected pretty solidly. You could feel it through the deck.
Spikes are getting close, sir.
Yes, they
Minus
are.
spikes.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
You're lucky he didn't do like a like try and do a hip up.
Headbutt or something into my chest. Yeah. I think we're in such a level of danger that George will draw his revolver, his Webley revolver, and just shoot this guy. Because at this point, we have been completely unable to subdue him. And
he's a wiry one.
And
Drawing your
he's
weapon is
about
going to
to-
be your attack action. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
All right.
In the meantime, Tanvir is just going to clutch onto his other ankle.
Cookery.
Just try to grapple him.
And no one's whispering knife.
Yeah.
I thought about the knife, but I'm thinking at this point. Yeah, I'm thinking at this point there's just such a level of panic, with the spikes and everything else. He's just trying to grab onto his ankle.
So you're trying to immobilize.
That's correct. Yeah.
All right. So this is a brawl touch attack.
Yeah. Well, how about that? He does not appear to have brawl. Well, so
Double strength.
what are we using?
It's strength -2, and it's totally appropriate. You're under George on the floor. You don't have leverage. You don't have the skill.
That would be 0.
Yeah. So
0
this
dice.
is what Tanvir is trying to do, and there's no question he could reach out and grab an ankle, but having the wherewithal to get any support or for control of the other man's body, it's just not happening. And should the smaller man want to, he could pull his legs out of Tanvir's grip. But it's not that Tanvir's flailing around, unable to do anything. he doesn't have the leverage, he doesn't have the positioning, he doesn't have the skill in order to subdue this guy.
And how's he defending?
How is who defending?
How's the little guy defending?
He doesn't have
against
0 dice.
He's wriggling about, I suppose. Yeah.
No, chance dice. I'm gonna add 5 to the difficulty.
Oh,
nice.
Dice.
how many
chance
dice? 10 chance
chance
dice? Yeah,
Yeah, whatever
there we go.
that adds 5 to the difficulty. So whatever this guy rolls.
Oh my God.
Listen, Francois Letarte taught me all about chance dice.
I don't think the lesson from Francois was to choose to roll 10 chance dice and increase the difficulty
I know.
by 5, but go for it.
We'll pretend that that's what he said.
Francois is a lousy, rotten. I rolled 5 successes. So it was a valiant effort.
It's a valiant effort.
Flailing arms.
Yes. However, you are unable to match the skill, even with this slim chance that fate threw your way.
Oh dear.
However, I will retroactively reward Tanvir a style point for caring so little about the risk.
Okay, that's cool. Just so you know, he's got 3 style points now.
All right, good.
So,
Good.
And what is the risk, you say? Well, the risk, of course, is that the line of spikes down the back of the armor, which are, of course, in George Mallory's abdominal, groin, and thigh areas. And I believe there are some important veins and arteries in those locations, which George might be using now and might find useful in circulating vast amounts of blood through his body, which could conveniently circulate this toxin should one of those
puncture his skin. Yes.
should they be introduced one to the other. Just so you know, something to think about.
What could go wrong?
Oscar, you've clocked him in the head. Tanvir is trying to grab at his legs. He's thrashing about. You can hear, like the sound of ripping fabric. That fantastic uniform of George Mallory's is being used and abused by this spiky armor.
Right. So is there in this room? Is there just by chance?
It's just like a narrow room with a ladder and the iron, or not iron, but anyway, the metal distilled water tank. Yeah, probably brass. Yes, not iron.
Yeah, brass.
It's that kind of space. So what were you thinking about?
Well, I'm just thinking if it's a part of the workings of the ship, there might be some rope or chain about. I was just thinking about if I had something like that, I could just wrap it around his neck and pull him off. George Mallory.
Does your crossbow not have a long strap?
It certainly does, yes. It's funny you should mention that.
Yeah. You're already in position, even.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'm going to loop it over his head and then just kind of yank it as hard as I can away from George.
All right. So this is pure strength.
Yeah.
This is double your strength.
So 4 dice. Is he going to resist that, or is it just I'm pulling a dead weight?
Yeah, he has the opportunity to resist, and we're we're back up at the top of the order, so he can choose to make this his main.
Okay.
Main thing.
Right. So all my strength. Oh, 3 successes.
All right. So these two are deadlocked, right? So he's leaning back against this strap. He's got one arm up inside it, and Oscar's yanking. He's leaning back.
Has it at least kind of removed some immediate danger from George.
Right. In that, he is going to try to roll up off of George and tackle Oscar.
Oh.
Please defend, young man.
Right. Oh, one result out of 5 dice.
All right then. And what is your strength? It's 2, is it not?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
All right. He rolls off of George and Tanvir, right, using the leverage of Oscar pulling him. And the two of them go crashing out into the hallway. And Oscar is knocked prone. So you're not grappled.
Yeah.
Right? But you are knocked back into the hallway and knocked down.
Yeah.
Which will give the opportunity to this assailant to try and make an escape from the hallway. Now, George has been trying to get his weapon clear in this awkward situation and has done so.
And George is understandably a bit panicked by the whole situation. So, but fortunately now he's clear. So now he sits up and is going to shoot the reptile man, even, you know.
Right, sit up and whip around.
And just, exactly. And
so over Tanvir's head.
Yes.
Mind the professor, sir.
Just to be on the safe side, yeah, I'm going to put some style in this. And, you know, he's just going to roll over and shoot through everybody without hitting anyone, hopefully. So
you guys have a penchant for shooting at each other during this game. Yes. I like that.
And we feel no remorse is the worst part of it.
None at all.
Endangering.
What will be, will be.
4.
At this moment,
6.
I'm either going to get stabbed
Successes.
by some spikes or shot by my friend. Yeah. What a way to go.
Yeah, if you have to go,
is
would it be shot by a friend or killed by poison?
I think shooting by friend is probably easier.
What do you got, George?
6 successes out of
6
10
successes.
dice. Yes.
Whoa.
Nice.
All right. So there he is, this little man all up in his armor. You know, he's rolled to his feet. He's still got the strap around his neck, but he's standing over Oscar. You know, he's got 1 foot to either side of Oscar's body. He's got his arm, you know, up inside the strap. He might, you know, use that to drive down and to pulp Oscar's nose or something like that. He's got that kind of body language. He's a real fighter, this guy. And then he collapses in a boneless heap. And Oscar is drenched in the man's hot, spicy blood.
Ew.
Professor, are you all right?
Yes, I think I'll be fine.
Are you injured? The spikes get you?
Oh no, I'm quite all right, sir. Tanvir's already brushing himself off and starts to brush off Jordan's uniform a little bit. Yeah, that's gonna be bad. We need a seamstress.
Yeah, it doesn't. I look around myself trying to see if there's
Seamstress.
if he's drawn any blood, but I'm not feeling any.
There are holes in the outer uniform jacket, and you know, a long rip in the jodhpurs, but the skin seems fine.
That was foolish of me. I thought I could get him before he could get to the tank, but I fear we're too late.
1 style point for George Mallory.
Professor, I'm afraid we've lost our water supply.
Yes, it seems as if we're being foiled at every turn at the moment. This poison, I wonder if we can just boil the water. Does that kill the poison?
I don't know, but we at least have two things in our favor. One is that we have some of the ingredients we believe to be the ingredients for the poison that we found in the jungle. And so hopefully Mr. Garibaldi can make something out of them when he gets back. Or perhaps you can take a look and see if you can fashion some sort of anti-venom.
I fear that may be beyond my skill.
But the other thing is we found a river. So we may replenish our water supplies. We'll have to boil it, of course.
Yes.
But
perhaps I can knock up some kind of quick filtration system.
That's not a bad idea. But I can take some of the men and we'll fashion some sort of water skins and bring back as much as we can. We'll have to divide the watch, I suppose, to get enough men for the expedition. But oh well, I don't think we'll die of thirst at any rate.
Well, no.
Tanner takes a look, like it gives Oscar a sideways glance, just looks at the water tank and says, the water's not good for drinking, but I suppose it's still good for washing.
I guess so. It's too bad Mr. Garibaldi isn't here. Cue transition.
I don't know. I mean, maybe we should just ditch the water in case. I mean, we don't know whether the poison could be absorbed into your body from. So I don't know whether washing could work. That might still poison you.
True. Well, then I suppose you could always swim in the ocean to get all that off.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Meanwhile, in Berlin.
I can't believe I'm stuck here where those guys are having all that fun.
Yes, after your third perfectly cooked meal of the day,
Right.
after your messages have been changed by attentive young nursing staff, and you have all the newspapers you might like to read, and different people from the military have come by to check on you, and from the embassy to check on you. You've actually been given some relatively recent newspapers, and one of St. John Smythe's associates has come by just to check on you with a cable from overseas.
Oh, smashing.
So I thought you might be bored, and so I have brought you news from home.
Well, thank you. Just get into the cricket section, if you don't mind.
Cricket, sir? So after talking sports.
No, I don't want to hear anything about it. Just get rid of that section.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. So he hands it over to Procter and Gamble, who fight for the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
This is, I don't quite know how to, how should I say, I don't know how to report this to you. So I will just, he hands the cable over, which has, the most important news of the day. Dr. Challenger, after marching into Parliament, has been placed under house arrest. And there was an explosion, which is being investigated at Philbin Castle. Philbin Castle being the ancestral home of Dr. Neslinger. I understand that you're associated with both of these gentlemen, and I don't have any reports that their health is impaired. But then again, I don't have reports that it isn't.
And no
Challenger has been arrested.
Yeah,
Yes.
no word on why Challenger was arrested.
He was quite abusive in Parliament to many of the lords assembled.
Oh, okay. I thought it was something serious. And Messenger. Yeah. That is disturbing about Messenger, but I can't Can't imagine he doesn't have explosions there on somewhat of a regular basis. I don't know if you've ever seen the countryside around there. But this is concerning.
Yes, they don't normally make the news.
Oh, quite. Yes, that. Nobody. Thank you very much, old boy.
And so he
Pick up
hands over the
papers.
reading reel and makes his awkward, a retreat from the awkward situation. Leaving you alone.
It's disturbing. That is disturbing.
From across the room, the beady eyes in the sunken face of the conscious survivor are just staring right at you.
Don't suppose you want a newspaper, old boy? So you're feeling better?
No.
So I'm getting out of bed, having healed somewhat, grabbing the wheelchair in the room and sitting in it, scooting myself over to him.
Those big ones with the wicker back.
Oh yeah, absolutely, scooting myself over into him. So tell me,
And he's dropped quite a lot of weight. Maybe in the 60, 70 pounds range now. Just his face is incredibly drawn, sores everywhere.
well, tell me, you were out for a long time. What did you see out there?
I saw hell. And the dragons and the demons writhing in the pit.
And where did you go? How did you get there?
We sailed, and then we walked, and we climbed, and then we were lost, and then we found the stones.
Stones? What stones? Bleeding and way too close to this poor man.
You can see his pulse beating, through the thin white skin of his neck, and you can see it pounding in his chest, and see his heart beating. He's so thin. The warning stones.
Like signs.
Yes, signs which we learned to read, but chose to ignore.
Learn to read. How did you read them? What, it was some kind of, was it European writing? What was it?
He's kind of weakly gesturing at the other man, still, not this lucid, not able to communicate. He's a linguist.
Oh.
Pictograms.
Should have brought one of those. I remember now. Next time, bring the linguist. Oh, I'm saying. Anyway. And so what did they say? They warned you to go back?
Yes.
But you went forward. Good show. Good show.
He grips you with all of the power of his body, which is like nothing. But if you're polite, you'll let him grip you.
Oh, of course.
So he grips you with intensity and the same sort of physical force of a 6-month-old child. He says, "Don't go." Don't go. He starts to cry.
It's quite all right, old boy. And I pat him on the shoulder. It's quite all right. You don't have to worry about me. Just want to find out what you found.
That's what Roger said. He was the first to be eaten.
Eaten by what?
By a demon. With teeth the size of an arm.
Did it
Split him in
fly?
half. His legs kept running and his body was swallowed.
That's exciting.
And he passes out from the exertion. With one last, don't go.
Proctor, Gamble, did you hear that? Did you hear any of that?
Proctor is crapping himself.
So I wheeled myself right over to Proctor and grabbed him by the shoulders. We're on the right path, old boy. We're on the right path. This is great news. This is bloody fantastic. We've got to go up the river and walk and then climb and get to the signs and keep going. We practically got a road map there. This is fantastic. I have to tell the others.
Perhaps you missed the part where he said many times, don't go.
Oh, cheer up, Proctor. This is our chance to accrue some wealth. This will be the money we need to fund our expedition to Patagonia.
Exactly. That's the spirit. That's the spirit.
Torsoless legs can live like kings. Is that your idea?
Come now, this is surely an inferior expedition. We have Mr. Mallory and Professor Winegold and Mr. Garibaldi. We'll be perfectly safe.
To be eaten first.
Come now.
First.
Don't worry, Proctor. You'll be in the back of the line.
Get a hold of yourself, Proctor. I'll be the first eaten. You heard the man. This calls for a celebration. calling for tea and crumpets. Like it's time to celebrate.
Back at the wreck site where there is no tea and there are no crumpets.
No. That's it. I give in. Let's go home.
The situation's getting critical. We're getting low on supplies. We have enough food, yes, but we have no tea or crumpets. So
we don't have the food that makes the food worth eating.
Exactly.
So you've got a water problem.
Yeah.
Pretty serious. That's number one.
Well, I think for the short term, we should collect some water from the river and boil it to make tea. And I think I can put together a filtration system for river water based on, we can get some sand from the riverbank as a basic filter, then filtering it through some charcoal, which we can make on site by burning some wood. We could do that, maybe have a couple of charcoal filters for the water. I can see Oscar's kind of writing it all down. Yeah, we'll have some tubes.
Walking around in a circle.
Yeah. We'll get these brass cylinders. We'll attach some tubes. We'll put the charcoal in here. Yeah, probably.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant, sir. This person's like, look at all the trees out here. You could never burn them all. It's fantastic. You have charcoal forever.
Yeah, it's bound to work. What could go wrong?
Fantastic.
It was already late at night. And so watches need to be set and people need rest. And come first light, all of this stuff will need to be dealt with. Whatever expeditions go to get whatever people need to settle down. All right. And so the Epiphany, curls in on itself and its crew try to protect her through the long night. And when dawn comes, the replacement, the changing of the guard happens, and they discover that one of the watch is missing.
Yeah. Is it anybody we liked?
There is a
That's the line of the
there is
session.
some confusion over the man's name until his bunkmate comes forth and lets everyone know that this was Stanley. I mean, everyone knows Stanley, and it's like,
Oh, that's his name. That's right. That's right.
And investigation, beating the brush and whatnot, reveals a very large python with a very large bulb.
Oh, crikey.
So he's not taken. He's just dead. The python.
He's just dead. Yes. He may have slept off into the, according to Phillips, who was an expert in the rainforest, he may have slipped off to relieve himself and instead was relieved of his life.
Well, this is dire news indeed. I suppose we'll arrange a burial for him, but
We'll have to
first
wait.
Burial.
We'll have to
What?
wait for yeah, we'll have to wait for a while.
well, yeah, I guess.
Well, only if
We'll
you
arrange a
care about the
service
snake.
for him. We'll arrange a service for him, but we have to deal with the situation with the water first. We have to push on. We know the attacks are coming at night, so perhaps a lighter watch during the day to reinforce the night watch may be a good idea, and we'll have to take some men in a detachment to make our way to the river and start bringing back some water to boil. That's our first priority, procuring water. So I'll try to arrange that.
Okay.
Philip just turns around and yells out, "Nobody goes out alone for anything."
That will be survival to find a good source of water that you can use right away. Right?
Mm.
Did you have a question or an objection? You don't want to find a good source of water, just want to find crappy
We
water?
do, but what I was thinking is the river. Making our way back to the river, but I forgot how many hours it takes to go there. Is it too far to?
It was most of the day, right? You left early and came back late at night. So
It's a hike to carry like 30 pounds of water back too after that all that time.
That's the whole issue. So I'll try to find maybe a closer tributary, or something. So it's a survival role.
right. And while that's going on, we can have an engineering role from Oscar to start in on his filtration system if he wants to stop work on the skiffs.
Well, depends on how important we feel that we do this. I mean, we need water for the expedition going into the jungle.
We have a large crew here, so water is the first rule of survival is you need to get water, because that thing, if we start getting thirsty, that'll escalate. And
what I just wondered about was also we're not that far from the sea. Could we not desalinate the water from seawater?
that's easier said than done. We'd need some sort of scientist to figure out how we are going to accomplish that.
Well, yeah. Luckily, perhaps I can do that as well. Perhaps my filtration system can take out the water, or we could maybe
universal water purification.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. That's right. So I will.
I'm going to go the weird science route of designing your own device.
Yes.
All right. So while we deal with survival, why don't you crack open your Bible and take a look at the requisite verses so that you are fully prepared for the emotional shock and the sticker shock of so doing. George Mallory, who are you taking with you on your expedition into the perilous rainforest where there are snakes big enough to swallow a man, and where there are piles of spore that fall from the sky containing the boots of dead soldiers?
I'm taking Phillips, who seems at home in the jungle, and perhaps we should detail more people to do that. Maybe Tanvir can go off with another of our volunteers, while the rest remain behind guarding the camp. Right. So 2 groups of 2.
2 separate groups of 2?
I think we should split up in order to increase our chances of finding water sources. As stupid as that sounds. Yes.
It sounds incredibly confident.
Yes. Because it'll be fine, right? Just
A style point for you, sir, for
Yes.
imperiling your best friend.
That's what friends are for. Yeah.
I'm going to go with this crack shot jungle expert, and you go with some other guy. Yes, sir.
So yeah,
Stanley's
maybe
despondent bunkmate. Yeah,
I'm just
still crying himself, crying as you're looking for the water. Oh, poor Stanley.
Yeah, well, if you put it that way, maybe it makes more sense that Tanvir goes with me and Phillips is the other experienced jungle. So maybe he'll.
Either way, you're still putting Tanvir in
risk. Yeah.
Your style point. It just made me laugh. It's like, I'm going to go with this guy. I'm going to go with the SEAL team, okay? And you can go with the male guy.
Both federal service,
intent.
it's like,
All right.
So I'm going to use the style point because of my overconfidence. And do I get any assistance? Well, it's Tanvir. I don't know if Tanvir gives me assistance. Does he have survival? Does he have survival? Because he might.
He might not.
Not really. No. But he can. He's going to write one hell of a
recommendation. Yeah.
An account. Yeah.
Here we go. Survival with a style point. Yeesh. It's not the hottest roll of the morning. That's 2 successes out of 7 dice. 2 successes out of 7 dice.
All right. So this is an extended roll, and you have 2 successes toward your total. You're going to need to gather 6 successes, and every roll represents 2 hours of time. Slow going. All right. So the first 2 hours of the day spent, and
no luck on the first trail. There might be some areas of humidity or like mud or something, giving us false hope. And as 2 more hours go by, I have again 2 successes and 6 dice.
Stressful. Okay, so it's very slow going, right? You know how to get to the river, or you're pretty sure how to get directly to the river, and pretty sure that's not the answer to the question. So we're looking for something else. We're going off in a different direction, and the undergrowth is very thick, and cutting through it is troublesome. And also in this direction, there's a significant increase in elevation, right? So we went the easy way the last time. We followed the lay of the land. We're looking for the river, so we're going low. Right? This time we're looking more for a spring or something along those lines. So we find ourselves going up, and it again is slowing travel. And there are all sorts of incredible creatures, plants that you've seen detailed nowhere before. Flora and fauna that defy description, bird calls you've never heard, and it's a shame that attention has to be focused on this most basic need. when exploration is calling. And there are thousands of people sitting in drawing rooms in London right now who would kill to be here, and who are not here.
Indeed. Yeah.
I say, George, it occurs to me that all this mud we keep traipsing through here, it rains here every day, doesn't it? Just like home.
It does, but well, at least it makes more sense than just trying to run through dry areas or rocky areas. So
True, but it's not really indicative of water on the ground. But if water falls from the sky every day, might one be able to
collect some of that, of course.
go on? I'm just thinking as I'm looking around here.
That's actually a very smart idea. We could maybe rig some of the wreckage of the Epiphany. Some of those, there's got to be pots and pans and Jean-Claude's pots where we can
must use those.
collect. Yeah, but we could collect rainwater, right? And maybe even rig one of the chimneys to collect the water that comes in through that. I don't know, but we need to make it through the day until
I'd like to take credit for the idea, but I mean, I just looked at that plant over there and that one and that other one over there that all seem to collect water the same way.
That's true.
Oh, and that one.
But they're like sufficient water because we need tons of water. It might help, it's probably worth collecting. But I think if we can find a good spring,
True.
It'll be much faster.
I've got a question about the poison. How much damage does it do?
A lot.
It does an incremental amount after.
Right.
So it's not one hit. It's ongoing.
It's bloody awful, mate. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You don't want it.
Ivan can testify. Yeah.
I know all about that.
So, in terms of making water safe to drink, if we just drank the water from a river, how dangerous is that?
You need to boil it as well because there might be diseases and.
Yeah, so you'd wind up in resistance rolls, which are body rolls against the virulence of the contagion.
Because I was so I was thinking about either constructing some kind of filtration system or creating some kind of pill.
Yeah. Well, I've heard. I'm not an outdoorsman, but I've heard that what they do is they take the water and they add drops of iodine or some other agent to sort of, if you go in a river, you pick up some water, put some drops of iodine on it or something else to purify the water to make it safer for drinking. I don't know how super safe it's going to be, but it's safer.
So as a chemist and a weird scientist, that would certainly.
But as an engineer, I probably
as
have
an
to
engineer, we're going to have to go physical with big tubes and pipes and steam.
So looking at the way this works again, I have to have some kind of starting template.
Or make one, yes.
Make a template. So I was thinking that basically I would start with the water tank that we already have. And attach various pipes to that, and I guess then it's like basically selecting some kind of enhancement. So.
So you want to look at it as damage reduction?
Well, that's what I was wondering. I was trying to make it fit within the rules of the game.
That's a good way to look at it. It's a good way to look at it. We can also say that it has an effect. It cleans water.
Right.
And then that's the basic effect. And then we need to figure out from a weird science method, does it clean it faster than normal, right? Does it create a greater volume than we might expect, and something along that?
I think that's what. Well, we need to make lots of water fast because we've got a lot of people to look after.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's
the thing. Right.
That's the thing.
So
Improve speed.
Improve speed. That's going to add 2 to the base, and improved quantity will add another 2. So we'll be looking at 6, which is within Oscar's capabilities, but not within the auto success territory.
Right. So is there some limitations that I could add to reduce it?
It's big.
It's huge.
Yeah, we can't take it. We probably can't take it with us. So yeah, it stays on the ship.
Right. So that would drop it back down to 4, which guarantees success.
Well, let's go with that then, because we need it to work.
All right. All right. So this design and working on it, taking the auto will take a week.
Right.
Which is way too long, right?
Yeah.
So you'll want to be able to accrue those successes, right, faster.
So let's roll.
All right.
It's like,
Dag nabbit, let's roll it. Day 1. Oscar versus the water demon.
Oops. Just not throwing that on the floor.
Oh, and we all know what's true about dice on the floor, don't we?
they count. They count. That's what the comment said.
Well, but if you wanted to count, it can count. Because it is actually a success. So yeah, I'm gonna take that.
Only if it's up.
Only if it's success.
That's not part of the roll. The roll is one big thing.
So, including the success on the floor, it's 5 successes.
Including the dice I didn't roll, it's so 4 successes. So the first day you make the average. Yep. That's nice. Day 2.
Let me just roll my final
Yeah,
Can I-
roll your
water check.
Maybe I could get someone to help me.
4 successes on the last check. So
4 successes on the last check. Aha. Success. But yes, the delta is available. No, delta's dead. Poor delta. Alpha, beta, and gamma are available to assist. Something to think about. But they're very slow. All right, so we found water. And this is the strange thing about the water, George Mallory. Some civilization in the past has carved stone for this very spring. And etched into the stone are the sigils of, well, it looks like hills with serpent necks and tails.
Interesting.
So it's almost like a well, about this big in circumference. Doesn't fill up and overflow, but the water is in motion, right? So it's in a sense filtering or recycling the water all by itself, and you can just keep taking water out of it, and the water level doesn't change.
What do you make of this, Tanvir? Serpents?
A lot of serpents out here. A lot of superstition. Sure, just somebody drew what they fancied, and, carved what they fancied on this.
Do they look like the symbols? Because the first reptile person we captured, the woman, she had tattoos, and did she write something out for us at some point? I seem to remember writing
Don't
something
know
out.
that you were there.
What?
I don't know. I don't know if anybody was there, or
Yeah.
maybe they were.
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't know if I was there because I don't remember it super clearly. Yeah, I just wanted to correlate one thing with the other. But if we weren't there, then we don't really.
Well, what you're looking at is just a thick stone lip, and it's etched decoratively with your eyes first say hill, but then you recognize at the bottom of the hill are these
Like
long
serpent.
curves that go into a serpent's head and a serpent tail. So whatever that's you is what it suggests.
Oh well, yeah, we'll take as much as we can carry right now and make our way back to camp to start boiling the water and redirecting people, towards the stream. So we'll start, organizing people to go back and forth to.
You're gonna be able to find us again, sir.
Of course we will.
So
We'll blaze a trail, right? We blaze a trail with our kukri knives, marking through the jungle.
Tanvir's loaded up with water bags, and George is loaded up with water bags, and you're finished. You got it all capped. You're talking about blazing your trail. You turn around to see a silent ring of the reptile.
Oh, dun.
Back at the camp, after a day of banging and welding and coppering and screwing and cursing and Alpha walking by saying, one moment, sir, I'll be there soon.
It will retrieve the spanner.
Night falls, and George and Tanvir failed to return from their expedition.
Dun.
Oh my God.
Phillips and one bedraggled, terrified gentleman with his clothes ripped. He's got a black eye now. They come staggering out of the jungle. Right. Apparently, the other fellow had fallen down a slippery slope and hit a tree. But there's signs of the reptile people in the woods, says Phillips. And he's very concerned that George has not returned.
Oh. Well, I think we better send out a search party.
Search party, sir.
The silence among the people who should be volunteering is deafening. They're all looking at a search party. The reptile people.
But it's nice
to look over at the small cemetery.
Yeah.
Grover just simply walks up behind Winegold with its deep ladder and taps him on the shoulder. Excuse me, sir. I think it's rather dark out there. I don't think anybody's going to be keen on going out right now.
What?
I like Mr. Mallory just as much as you do, sir. But
is it nighttime already? Wow.
This is quite dark. Look, I see all the stars. It's brilliant.
Well, maybe we should get a good night's sleep and then think about a search party first thing after breakfast.
Phillips gets this look on his face and nods his head at his other two associates. And they re-outfit their kit and they silently go out.
There we go. True heroes.
Glad I don't have to go. Okay. So, you're surrounded. George Mallory and Tanvir Singh. There are several who have a small wooden device, raised to their lips, and their chests are absurdly inflated. And there's one who's kind of lazily swinging the spiked ball in its leather sling. But most of them are just standing there looking at you, like actually looking at you like you're specimens, like up and down and left and right.
I dare say that's too many, sir.
Tend to agree.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8
Oh,
that
jeez.
you can see.
It's at least 8. Yeah, I raise my hands up as well. I have no idea how to go about this, but I think our only hope is try to establish some sort of communication. See if they'll be willing to talk.
So while your hands are up, the one with the most elaborate armor, it has little splashes of red on it. Not like huge, painted sections, but it has highlights of red in different parts of the armor. Signals, and a smaller one comes forward and reaches out very carefully to remove the Webley from the holster, right? Making eye contact the whole time, like looking way up into George's face, reaching out very carefully. He's gonna take it. Are you gonna fight? He's agitated, he's ready to go at the drop of a hat. Then another one is coming over to take Tanvir's blade.
And George has one as well, so they'll probably take that one too.
They want to disarm you.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I look at the one reaching for the gun and I tell him, slowly, but not in the hopes that they understand, but I'll say be very careful with that. Boom, boom, careful.
So he takes it with two fingers, right, and then 2 fingers in a hand, and he scuttles back to his chief, and they put it down at the leader's feet, to the knives and the other equipment. And then, just when it looks the darkest, you can see the chests inhaling more, right, for that powerful puff. And you hear the sound of gas-powered engines, incredibly noisy, with some kind of piston knock. And in a small gap of the trees, you can see darkness. A vast dirigible is slowly drifting.
Nice.
Over the space. And then you hear the unmistakable sound of a metal slide on a large bore machine gun.
Ooh.
And the shrubbery, the trees, the tops of the trees begin to explode as incendiary and explosive rounds rain down from above.
I take cover, and I grab Tanvir, and we sort of like collapse to the floor, right, to take some cover.
Roll initiative. Oh, sorry, not initiative. Roll your athletics to get to cover before becoming hamburger.
Yes, of course. Athletics. Okay, excellent.
So I want to rescue my friend Tanvir, so I will use a style point to accomplish that.
Tanvir looks like Tanvir has a few style of his own.
He has 3, I believe.
He has 3.
This is a hell of a time to use style. I think you might use a couple.
There.
I have 4 successes.
4 successes.
All right, hold on. I'm just going to use a couple style to try to dive behind this well or whatever else you can dive to get out of here. And that's 3. That's 3 successes.
All right. So you guys have the advantage of knowing what all these sounds mean and what it is that you're looking at. The reptile cultists or men or people, they lose a beat looking up and registering what all of this means. And as the shrapnel from the tree trunks and as the bullets start raining down, exploding and ricocheting off off rocks. Some of them are caught, and they're literally shredded, blown apart by the impacts. Many of them are able to scatter into the shrubbery around the base of the giant bases of trees, into the roots behind rocks. And we're in this rocky, mossy area full of shrubbery. You guys get down in behind rocks, and the impacts and the firing just goes on and on and on and on and on and on, and then finally it stops, and the dirigible is drifting, and then the ropes come down. And then the very, very clean, very, very well prepared, crack exploratory troops, right? High boots and jodhpurs and crisp white shirts and pith helmets, right? They come down the ropes, rappelling down the ropes into the ground. Search the bodies, find them.
I say hail the ship from behind cover. Thank God for your timely arrival.
Head whips around,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a face with an eye patch. And it's a voice that says, "Who's speaking?"
George Mallory, explorer, and
Really?
former Bengali lancer. I don't know.
Everybody claims to have been a Bengali lancer. Rise.
And
Right.
so
some of his men, have their weapons raised in order to
and
secure
this
the area.
This is my friend Tanveer Singh, and I rise up with hands up. I say, you've certainly arrived at an opportune time. Thank you.
George Mallory. Does that name ring a bell with anyone?
Well, I am slightly famous, but I really got famous when I got here, so I don't know if they'll recognize me. But from the society, I do have a Royal Geographical Society and Travelers Club. So
yeah. So let's do a diplomacy check.
okay. With the +2 from the Royal Geographical Society.
Yep.
They do indeed know my name. That is 5 successes and 5 dice. So
very nice. Almost impossible.
Well, it makes sense, right? Maybe they research who's the opposition on this expedition, so they.
And while they're realizing who you are, Tanveer Singh is looking around as if the situation really hasn't changed at all.
It's marginally improved. It's marginally.
So the squad leader's aide leans in and whispers, and he goes, "That's right, George Mallory. Well, this might not be as fortuitous a meeting as you might like."
Oh.
"Take them away," he says, and the men come forward, clearly intent on binding your hands and spiriting you away to the dirigible.
Oh my God! What is the meaning of this? There's really no call for this. We are all, the Queen's, or this is the King. No, the Queen.
Queen.
Queen. We're still Victorian. Yeah, we're all the Queen's servants.
Yes, but some of us serve her better than others. Don't need endless hints about don't go. But here you are, going.
Well, there's no breaking no laws. We're just, I say, unhand me, sir. The guy who's trying to.
So are you going to go peacefully? There are 6 of them and 2 of you. They are armed and you are not.
Yes.
Although, to be fair, your weapons are just over there in a small pile under the body of the tiny little fellow who took them from.
Yeah, no, but I don't mean to be ungrateful, sir, but
But screw you.
but this is uncalled for. We have
I see you're having some trouble with the locals. It's lucky that we decided to rest here for the evening.
and I am quite grateful for that, but there's no need for this manhandling and rudeness.
I don't know. I mean, you could have been struck by a stray round. We had no idea there was anybody down here. I mean, being taken prisoner lawfully, legally, comfortably, you'll be fed after all. I would think that would be much better
Prisoner?
than out in the shrubbery.
Prisoner on what grounds, I say?
Well, the League, the Royal Geographical Society, wants the opportunity to question you and perhaps change your mind forcibly if necessary about being the one to complete this mission when there are other people who are far more deserving to get the credit and, of course, the great pleasure of proving Dr. Challenger wrong.
Uh-huh.
I see.
Now, Mallory, I don't think you were going to succeed. That was your crash site way back there?
Yes, it is. So I will make you a counter offer then.
I'm all ears.
I will go with you peacefully and answer your questions. If my man Tanvir here can remain behind, we are, as you have seen, in the process of procuring water for what remains of our expedition. We surely pose no threat. I would see Tanvir get water to the men of our expedition.
All right. So you're negotiating with this man and pleading to his better nature. Let's see if he has a better nature.
To appeal to, yes.
We haven't actually been bound yet, have we, or have we?
Not yet. No, we're still in the process of negotiating whether you're going to be beaten and bound or just bound.
Right. And what about what time of day, or like where's the sun? Like how's the sun looking? Or is it later in the day?
Yeah, they were about to make camp.
Okay,
They were
all right.
So it's you would have been walking back in the dark.
Right.
So diplomacy.
Diplomacy. Can I add the Royal Geographical Society bonus, or is this
not this time?
Not this time? Yeah, it doesn't seem like it to me, but hey, it's worth a try. And I think
ballsy move.
I will blow my last style point in a vain attempt to at least get Tanvir to remain behind, to appeal to the better nature of this one-eyed man. Oh my God, that's not a bad roll. That's 3 successes on 4 dice. It's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I don't mean to be insensitive. Well, perhaps I do. But your man here, is he at all equipped for the perils of the rainforest?
And I look at Tanvir and I say, do you think you can make it back to the wreckage with this water? And bring Phillips to procure the rest of the water for the expedition? I mean, I'll try to get out of this situation as soon as I can, but at the present time, I see no other alternatives.
At that moment, I look at George, my faithful friend, through thick and thin, and while appearing to ponder the answer, I'm going to give him that look like it's time for us to go.
Okay.
and I all of a sudden, I said, my eyes get huge, and I look up at the man with the patch. I said, "There's a large multi-legged creature crawling on your shoulder," and I just like toss like whatever I'm holding, the bags of water, and just start booking.
Okay.
In a direction with it. Looked at George like, "Let's go." Trying to get into the thickest part of the jungle.
Meanwhile, back at the camp.
Forgive me.
Sorry.
No, it's cool.
That's brilliant.
Cool.
That's brilliant. Brilliant.
Meanwhile, back in Berlin, in the hospital.
Champagne and everything. Yeah.
No.
Champagne.
These guys are dying of thirst.
It's a celebration,
And Garibaldi is,
They're taking away the second bowl of pudding.
Spotted dick, I believe.
Exactly.
There's a nice napkin for wiping away the remains of the meal, and there is a lot of whispering out in the hallway, and then one of the men comes in. His name is Arnold or something like that. He comes in and he looks. I mean, there's no one in there but Procter and Gamble and two semi-conscious guys. Everybody looks over, looks left and looks right, and he leans in and says, "A dirigible from the Royal Geographic Society radioed the embassy as they passed over Berlin today.
What?
They're heading to the interior.
We've got to go right now. We've got to go now. Get Burke. We've got to go now.
Burke.
I can't stay here."
The embassy doesn't want us to tell you because of your health. But Burke said you'd want to know. He's out in the courtyard.
We need to make
They're gonna
preparations
a
to go.
push through the jungle to get there as soon as they can.
You have to take me. I can't stay here. If they're there, if they're this close, we have to beat them.
He hands you your clothes.
Getting dressed, and at this point, I think I'm up to only 4 lethal wounds now. I managed to, in that 10 days, I managed to heal two now. So
Yeah,
not feeling fantastic, but just getting close over. Trying to vomit.
So one thing that you've noticed in your convalescence is that you're going to have to change the hole in your belt.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
We lost some weight.
No, I don't think
he's
so.
gained.
I'll just get this right off. It'll come right off. I'm sure in the woods. Dr. Campbell, it's time to go. Stop crying, Proctor. Stop crying. We've got to leave now. Quit your blubbering, man. Quite agitated.
Right away, sir. Gamble has.
Now, Proctor
bags.
is a coward and receives style for cowardly actions which can imperil and upset his friends. So it's pretty obvious that he's looking for someone to alert that the prized patient is seeking to escape from the hospital. Can he be prevented from doing so?
Oh, I'll tackle him if I have to. I swear to God. There's no way.
The method is up to you.
Let me get my
Yeah.
Gamble sheet here. Take a quick look. Athletics and survival. Great. Yeah. So not much to do
I'm not gonna
there.
try to put.
He grabs Proctor. Gamble grabs Proctor by the shirt, and it's like, "I say, Proctor, get it together, man. My bags are packed. Master Garibaldi's bags are packed. Get it together. We have to leave now."
And I'm looking. I'm grabbing my knife at this point. I'm cutting a strip off the sheet. And I get behind Proctor. It's like, "This is for your own good, man." I gag him.
All right.
I haven't
worth a
tied his hands or
style
anything,
right
but I'm just
there.
gagging. I'm just gagging him. Like,
Style point for Lords.
Nice.
Style point for
Gamble.
Gamble, who's stubborn, not going to put up with this crap. And so you sneak out of the hospital and get into the warm and loving embrace of Edward Burke, and Jean-Claude is there, and there are pack mules, and they're loaded down with supplies, and Jean-Claude is singing some kind of song, and the chorus involves marzipan, and he's holding a bottle of cooking sherry, and he's gesticulating wildly, and then when he gets to the chorus, he poses.
Nice.
Gamble is carrying Proctor on his shoulder and is berating him the entire time. It's like, Proctor, we're being paid to carry the luggage, not being paid to carry each other. Come on, man. This is not how kings behave. So he's just berating him all the way down the stairs.
The small group troops out of the city.
leave it once.
So you have a small squad of troopers who are defecting under Burke's banner, and Edmund comes up to Garibaldi, and very at the last minute he adjusts the force of the blow to punch him on the shoulder, right? The manly punch in the shoulder. He hauls off to really wail you one, and then pulls it back the last second, just good show.
Thanks, old boy. I give him a pop back. Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay. Just before sunset at the camp, Oscar doesn't notice. He hears the story later from Percy and others who are talking about the distinct sound of an airship having flown by. They didn't see it, but why would such a big craft be traveling here, not to Baalim or off of the normal, the normal routes to other cities? Why would it happen? Why couldn't we get help? And there's a variety of different opinions.
It's the distinctive sound of Gatling gun fire in the distance.
Yeah. Sure, right? Maybe it was thunder.
Percy's like, Mr. Winegold, that has to be the other expedition.
It must be.
You've got to get those craft finished. Never mind this water nonsense. We can't be scooped. I can't write a story about the guy that got there second.
He's got a point.
He's got a point.
Nobody's going to buy that story. We've got to get those whatever it is you call them ready. You've got to go.
Gosh, I don't know what to do. Water, skiffs. Oh my God. Someone make a decision.
Poor Oscar. One style for Oscar.
Nice.
But no one comes forward to make a decision. However, Beta slowly raises his pincer up to shoulder height and then slowly extends it to touch you right here. Don't worry. Be happy. And then walks on.
Oh, thank you.
Percy has to write that down.
That's gold. That is gold.
Yeah, this is gold right there. I'm not sure what's going to do that. It's fantastic.
Here's a little song I wrote. All right, so.
Well, how much more work does the water filtration device need?
You have so far gotten 8 successes.
Yeah.
You will need 2 more.
Well, I might as well just finish it then.
Right back to Elizabeth.
So
You're going to work through the night, exhausting
Yeah.
yourself.
I'm going to have to.
Go for it.
Okay.
So what is it you're working on? The skiffs? It's
No,
the
no.
skiffs, right?
No,
Oh, the water?
Water. Let's finish the water.
You've gotten 4 successes
Okay.
so far, and you needed 4. So it's done.
Oh, it's done. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, in that case, I might as well work on the skiffs.
That's what I mean. It took the whole
Yeah.
day. Right? So if you're going to start working through the night to work on
I will.
the skiffs, you are exhausting yourself. This will manifest as non-lethal damage and so on and so forth.
I think this is important for the cause.
Okay.
So
For the cause. Go for it.
I rolled 6 successes.
That's good enough, I think, for needing 2 and getting 6.
Yeah, it's overkill.
That sounds a bit like an epiphany.
Yeah.
You know, you've been laboring on these things for a week, and you know it's been really going slowly, and then suddenly in the middle of the night.
Of course. Exactly. I should have wired this and plumbed to that. It would have been so much quicker.
Reverse the polarity.
I should have reversed the polarity. I should have grounded these flange plates. You know, it all suddenly clicks into place.
Right. Now, part of the plan was to create a weapon system that was going to be mounted, the electronic or the electric harpoons.
Oh yeah.
That, of course, has not even, the design phase hasn't even been begun. But come dawn, exhausted, bleary-eyed, right, with 2 fresh, non-lethal wounds representing his exhaustion.
Oh. I mean,
And all it would take to restore those is rest, right?
Yeah.
Come the crack of dawn, you have the skiffs ready for transport.
The kick that I received is bruised nicely, as well as being exhausted. You know.
Yeah.
Just
A nice like sunset going on.
Yeah. Okay.
Reverse the polarity, huh?
I did.
Yes.
I did, and it's all worked nicely. I mean, I think the harpoon would have been a nice touch, but I think at this point we need to just crack on now.
Right. So come dawn, there's still no sign of George Mallory.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, meanwhile, back in the jungle, hours before, George Mallory and Tanvir Singh begin a desperate gambit to escape. There's a large multi-legged creature on your shoulder, and then Tanvir runs for
These guys water just tosses those and just books for the jungle. Yeah.
All right, initiative, please. Now, because it's so ridiculous, so unexpected, I will give you a 2-die bonus on your initiative. But if you're looking for a velvet glove, please note.
I know.
There is none. Yeah.
Of course, he's giving George that look like it's time for us to go. So.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, might as well. I think George just takes the cue and tries to run as well.
Roll a 5.
I can imagine you two have been together for so long. You just recognise that that moment. Time to skedaddle.
5 out of 6. So there are
5 out of 6. 5.
What do we need to roll again? Initiative?
Initiative plus 2 dice.
Yeah.
And a bonus on it.
2 of those successes were from the ruse.
Where's my initiative? Oh, here we go. 5 and 1 is 6. No, 5 plus 2 dice is 7.
It's usually 7 in most mathematical systems, but perhaps.
This one.
That's exactly how my 10th grade math teacher would have phrased that. It's usually 7. Oh, that is a 4. 4 successes.
4 successes. So 4 successes and 5 successes. You guys are doing quite well, right? The only person you don't have the drop on is the one-eyed man. But he is currently unarmed, and he doesn't seem the type to go running through the jungle. So you can tell, the nerves on the back of your neck can tell that he is drawing his weapon to aim it at your back as you flee. You've got 1 round of movement. All right. Now this is gunfire.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some interesting options for you. Be rolling your move. This movement can count as distance only. Remember, they blew up a whole bunch of terrain. You can go for the distance, straight out, just going in a straight line, and that will count somewhat towards your defense. Or you can dodge, but this is going to reduce the amount of actual distance that you can travel, giving him an easier shot because it's in closer range, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? This is gunfire. You can only defend with your body, right? With your passive defense.
So it's either increase the distance, and that
Try
gives
and
him
get
some
out of
penalties.
Yep.
Yeah, or
Dodge, which of course is going
dodge,
to,
which you have to roll to get some bonuses on our defense against his gun.
it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, maybe, but how do you feel that the characters would approach it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, Chandler is trying to get into the cover of the woods as fast as possible. He wants to lose these fellas. I think he's just going to run straight.
He's going to run.
Yeah, I think George recognizes as well that if he delays too much, then the others will just shoot him because he's got 6 people in his party or whatever. So,
All right.
yeah, can I leverage my athletics on top of this or something?
If your athletics is greater than your move,
Yes.
then yes. Yeah. So it's going to take 1 turn for him to draw the weapon. This gives you 1 turn of flat out running for the tree line.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now it's not flat track surface, right? So the difficulty is 2. Anything you roll over 2 counts.
On the move?
On the move.
Okay, good.
So you're just rolling move or athletics if it's greater.
Using the last style that Mr.
You
Sting
both
had.
get a style point for your particular flaws.
Chalk it right in.
Overconfident and
Yeah.
blasé.
Well, then I'm using the other one. Then I'm using both.
Yeah.
So
I got 3 successes minus 2 is 1.
So did I.
All right. So you guys are running, and there's you can picture it, right? There's hillocks and roots and vines and flowers and shrapnel and broken tree trunks and limbs and startled snakes and spider webs and everything. You're booking it, and you can hear the snap of the flap over his
Holster.
revolver.
Yeah.
And then you hear the scrape of iron against hard leather. And then you hear the click of the hammer being drawn back. And then you hear the clink of the armor against, not the armor, the iron against his, studded wristband, right? And then you hear the intake of breath. And now, any second, you can feel it from the rising of hair on the back of your neck. He's going to fire at one of you. Do you just keep running straight, or do you do something else? Fall prone, zigzag. stand in front of your friend.
Yeah, I think I'll start zigzagging. Yeah. Zigzagging sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, zigzagging sounds good. Yeah, I'm gonna take the falling prone bad idea.
Yeah.
Zigzag.
Okay. So you're making it harder for him. Right? Every 2 successes you earn on your athletics is going to raise his difficulty.
Or roll athletics again?
Yep.
Oh, I got 2 out of 4. The average, fantastic. I make it somewhat harder for him.
3 on a 6, which is the average. So.
All right. So both of you have presented a slightly harder target.
Okay.
And you feel it before you hear it.
Ooh.
An electrical discharge which courses through your body and causing you to spasm and collapse. Not having hit one of you, having hit both of you.
Oh!
And as the electricity sizzles through your flesh, the light slowly fades.
Awesome.
And in Berlin,
Sinjin's
spine turns away from his diary where he's been writing, and he looks out the window suddenly with a shocked look on his face, and he says, "Beware the one-eyed man." And that ends tonight's session of
The Sky is No
Limits.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we were doing so good too.
Surely you knew that sooner or later there had to be a kidnapping.
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely. Wasn't going to stand still for that. Oh my goodness.
That was interesting. I was willing to surrender George for Tanvir, right? Just to keep the expedition safe. But hey, works out nice either way, right?
And you were successful, by the way. You were successful in convincing him. He was actually concerned that Tanvir wouldn't make it.
Mm.
You know, you introduced yourself as George Mallory, explorer, and this is my friend Tanvir. We served in the army together.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
It seemed like whatever the outcome, you were going to be captured. I think
we had a chance. Tanvir wouldn't have made it.
You totally had a chance.
Oh,
totally had a chance. It just happened to work out in the one-eyed gentleman's favor this time.
I'm intrigued by this a lightning gun device.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
And I think it's cool that we never actually got his name, so he's just a one-eyed
man.
The one-eyed
man. Definitely. I think he's going to be our new villain.
Yes, awesome.
Yeah,
who is so interested in Challenger's downfall?
That's
yeah.
What were you going to say, Ivan?
Yeah, I just have this. You know, I'm anticipating the being tied up or chained up or somehow otherwise detained for the monologue.
Yeah.
That's what both of the cell are just tied up. And so, I tell you about something.
It's that classic kind of I'll tell you my plan before I kill you moment, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't want you to die curious because that's inhumane.
Yeah. Tell you everything, all my secrets, and then you should die.
Yeah. No, that was my biggest fear was getting scooped. It's definitely, you know, and here we are. You know, we're right back there again. You know.
But it'll be fine because we got the skiffs, right? So we'll make up for lost time. This is George's plan all along, or at least that's what he thinks.
And now without that extra weight, the skiffs will go even faster.
Yeah,
should be going even faster indeed.
That's right.
Well, just I think George Mallory will get there before us anyway. You know,
Exactly, in the airship. Yeah.
he's still kind of first.
Yeah.
Maybe you can crash the airship as well.
Yeah.
A new kind of fame. Don't let George Mallory fly.
Jinx, I tell you.
He's a
No,
joke.
but I like the session. I like the
very, very good. Very cool.
the poor victim sitting there telling me not to go. And then more horrible it got, the more excited I got.
Yeah.
That's right. Thrill seeker. Yeah.
Well, yeah, not only that, but I was like, oh, really? Okay, cool. They really did find it. Awesome. And he's giving me directions. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Proctor's sitting in the corner, like, watching his life flash before his eyes.
Yeah.
I never got to do this. I should have told Mary that I loved her.
I never finished my stamp collection.
I have none from Patagonia.
Awesome.
All right.
All right.
So, experience.
You've all shown up, and so you get your I've shown up point. Let's talk about peril.
Wow. I mean, so much peril.
Yes, I think we got that one covered. Yeah.
What about Lawrence Garibaldi?
Yes, Simon wasn't really in danger. I played a
yet.
bunch of other people that were in lots of danger, but I haven't been in danger yet. But no.
The only danger he had was possibly a paper cut from the newspapers he was reading.
I think may that may cholesterol,
alcohol poisoning.
definitely no. Definitely nothing of that. He was in peril.
Wisdom.
Well, we learned that the Royal Geographic Society are there. They're on top of us. They've obviously caught up on our expedition.
They had a lot of time to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think George learned anything new because we knew the blimp was coming.
Yeah.
We never got even the one-eyed man's name. I don't think we learned anything new about our expedition. We just, water and
a little bit about how can the Royal Geographical Society be divided in this way, right? You represent the Royal Geographical Society.
Right.
They're claiming to represent the Royal Geographical Society.
True.
You've learned the RGS has suppressed or actually released falsified information to the papers.
Correct.
All the other expeditions went, into Africa.
Correct.
Totally different continent, right? What's going on?
And there's a rivalry with Challenger and the one-eyed man.
We realize that. What we don't know is who is behind this Royal Geographic divide, right? Is it somebody high up in the society? Is it somebody in the government giving instructions to them? Is it a rival country? It has infiltrated the society. We don't really know why.
You would expect the Challenger Society to come out at opposing us, but not these fellows. So that's intriguing. In the meantime,
I wonder, is the patron of the Challenger Society?
True. That's the whole deal. Who is behind? It might be some rich guy up in London, right? Just financing this and seeking, I don't know, his own fame or something, and so he's maybe behind this thing, but we don't really know who it is yet. We know who his minions are, but
and there have been direct actions against, maybe not Challenger. Maybe Challenger brought it on himself. He's not the most likable fellow, famously not likable. But Neslinger seems to keep to himself.
Now he's implicated on an explosion and stuff like that. So we don't. Is it sabotage? Did he just blow himself up, which is usual for him? But
Right,
Yeah.
this is usual.
it's not completely out of the question, right? So, but I
There's lots of
Unfortunately.
evidence around the estate. Yeah.
Garibaldi has completely chalked both those up to coincidence. He doesn't see anything unusual about either of those events.
I'm not even going to tell the others.
Yeah, well, he might.
I've already
Look,
forgotten.
of course he's in jail. He's a jerk. Of course something blew up. He's like Oscar.
All right. So I'm going to say then that yes, we haven't really learned anything. It's still just ticking over in our mind. So no wisdom point, role-playing point for sure, as always.
Yay.
Success. Oscar has completed 2 inventions, so he'll get the success point.
Awesome.
Neither one of these have been purchased with experience, so I get to play with their effects. Be ye warned.
I do have some experience to spend.
Right. So it's 30 experience for the skiffs.
Yeah, no, not that much. I'm not really going to bother with the water filtration device.
So
Okay.
like I said, I can have fun.
Yeah.
Small way with these devices.
Yeah.
In
Okay.
some small way. So, for example, I will not, if you invent a gun, I will not make it shoot backward. But
I sure am.
It may, misfire or something along the way at an inopportune moment.
Yeah.
All right. Ben.
Certainly not going to spend experience on an invention that could change the entire world and save billions of lives.
Well,
Water filtration.
water filtration system. Yeah.
You can pat on, you can retire.
No. No need for that.
One and done.
That's not glamorous.
That's fantastic. Yes. Other than that, I don't believe there's any other success except the success in the weight game.
Yeah.
And we got the water, but we didn't even get it back to we just found it. We didn't get it to the people. So yeah, it's like.
Yeah, failed.
Oh, any ideas about the design on the lip of the stone well?
It could be Serpent Hills. It could be Serpent People, water, resting place, campsite.
Is it a shrine?
Could be some sort of shrine, but it's just water that replenishes.
Is it something to do with their religion?
Is it marking a tunnel, or some sort of aqueduct? I don't know. All we found was the lip of the thing.
What did St. John Smythe say? He didn't say anything about that, did he?
No. He said at the end of the last session it was don't drink the water, right? Because it had just been.
No, I mean that chant he did where he wrote everything down.
Oh yeah,
that was cryptic crap.
That's true. Yeah.
Let's take a look at that.
The cryptic crap.
River of the Gods, white rock teeth. Through the gorge into the caverns of the mother, under the fiery eye and fire.
Not really.
So I don't know if it's white rock teeth, but or maybe it's marking the river of the gods, right? Maybe it's a snake marking the river of the gods, but I don't know. It's just a spring. It's not a river itself, right? Although it's clearly the water source that the reptile people were using because that's why they were there, right? We wanted to find our campsite last time and we didn't find it, and we just did. So, fortunately.
And right now, that precious water is just trickling out of those bags at the feet of the one-eyed man.
Yes.
Where I've thrown them.
Damn.
Well then, gentlemen, thank you for your joyous participation in this celebration of our great hobby.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So,
Thank you.
we'll sign off there, folks. Thank you to Anthony for running such a brilliant game, and I think he deserves an Oscar after his performances today. Thank you to Ivan and to Eloy for joining us too. And we'll see you next time when we play another session of The Sky is No Limit.
No limits.
Take care, everyone.